Hello, and welcome to this lecture on APA formatting. In this lecture, I'm going to be going through language, the types of papers that we have in APA, formatting of papers, headings, and tables and figures. Let's begin by looking at the language of APA papers. In an APA paper, the objective is to be clear, concise, and to use plain language. So we want to make sure that when we write an APA paper that it is easy to understand. We do not want to use esoteric language, that is, language that is difficult to understand. Fancy words are not necessary. Try to make it as simple as possible so that you can get your point across. Try to make it as short as possible so the reader does not have to read extra stuff in order to get your point. So an APA paper is supposed to be easy for the reader to read. Let's examine a few of the different types of papers that you might see in an APA format. First, we have the literature review. A literature review simply reviews literature. So you're summarizing a number of pieces of literature. The literature review is actually an introduction for a research paper. However, a literature review is also a common type of paper that you will see in an undergraduate course. So the literature review contains a title page, the main body of the paper, which again is just an introduction to the topic. You are summarizing all of the relevant literature on a particular topic. And then the references. Research papers contain 4 sections: the title page, the abstract, the main body, and the references. They may also contain appendices, tables, and figures, which are added at the end of the paper. Now, I should note that tables and figures do not need to be added at the end of an APA paper. It is also possible to put a table or a figure within the main body of a research paper. Personally, I prefer to put them in the main body because then they are easier to refer to. Now, we've already seen that when it comes to a literature review, that the main body is ultimately what we would consider to be an introduction for a research paper. And we can see how the main body is broken up when it comes to a research paper. So we do have that introduction, which is the literature review, and we have the method. What types of studies were done in order to conduct this research? The results are included. And then the discussion. How are all of these results relevant? What do they mean? With respect to your term paper, what we are expecting is that you will have a title page, an abstract, the main body, and the references. So as you can see, you are going to write a literature review with an abstract. Let's look at the general formatting of an APA paper. First, your margins are expected to be 2.54 centimeters. This is the same as 1 inch. Indents are going to be 1.27 centimeters or 0.5 inches. It is going to be double spaced all the way through. It is going to have 12-point Times New Roman font. And it is going to be printed on letter size paper. Let's consider headings in your paper. And when I'm talking about headings, I'm not talking about a title. I'm also not talking about the heading for abstract or the heading for references. I'm talking about headings within the main body of the paper. APA papers use what is called a 5-level heading format. Notice that all of your headings are in title case. The first level heading is going to be centered and bold. And you're going to start your paragraph below that heading, indented 1.27 centimeters. The second level heading is going to be left aligned and bold. Again, your paragraph is going to be indented 1.27 centimeters below the heading. The third level heading is going to be left aligned, bold, and italic. Again, you are going to start your paragraph below the heading, indented 1.27 centimeters. Your fourth level heading is going to be indented and bold. Start your paragraph immediately following that heading on the same line. And the fifth level heading is going to be indented, bold, and italicized. Start your paragraph on the same line immediately following the heading. So these are considered the 5 levels of headings, and they do not include the titles, they do not include abstract or references. These are going to be within the text of the main body. Let's take a look at APA tables and figures. The formatting of tables and figures is virtually identical. Here is a table. This table is actually identifying the 5 level headings. With our table, the first thing that we want to do is identify which table it is. In this case, we have Table 1. This is bold and in plain text. Next, we need a title for this table. It will be in title case and italic. Our column headings are going to be separated with horizontal lines. So we see there is a horizontal line above the column heading and below the column heading. The data is not separated by horizontal lines. Below the data, there is a horizontal line. Below the data, you may want to add notes. This could be either a single note or multiple notes. Note is written in italics followed by a period. If you have one note, it would be note, period. If you have multiple notes, it would be notes, period. And then your notes are written in plain text. Figures have virtually identical formatting. You need to identify your figure, in this case, figure 1. And then you need to put in your title. The title again will be in title case and italicized. As before, you might want to put a note below the figure. The major difference between figures and tables is that figures do not have any borders. So let's just go through a sample paper and see how it was formatted for APA 7th edition. This is the title page. Notice that we have a running head, page number, and the title of our actual paper. There are 2 spaces between the title and the rest of the information on the title page. This includes the name of the author, the institution for which it was written, and the date. Also notice that all of the title page information is above the halfway mark of that title page. This particular paper does not have an abstract. Moving to the first page of the main body, we see the title is again written in title case in bold. And then we can start writing. Our paragraphs have indents of 1.27 centimeters. On the third page, I have a table. On the third page, I happen to have a table. This table is properly formatted. Table 1 in bold, title of the table in italic, title case. The column headings are separated with horizontal lines, and the data border on the bottom is also a horizontal line. The notes are below that horizontal line. In this particular example, I have not included the word notes. However, I have used superscripts A, B, C, and D to denote that there is going to be information below the table. And the last page is our references. References is in bold. It is centered at the top of the page. Our reference list is in alphabetical order. And we see that we have hanging indents of 1.27 centimeters for each and every reference. So what have we learned today? APA uses plain language. We learned about literature reviews and research papers. Remember, your term paper is going to be a literature review with an abstract. We learned about margins, 2.54 centimeters, indents, 1.27 centimeters, spacing, double spaced, and font, 12 point times New Roman. We learned about the 5 levels of headings. Remember, these are the headings within the main body of the paper. It is not referring to the title, the abstract heading, or the references heading. And then we learned about tables and figures. These include identification of the table or figure in bold, table 1, figure 1. It also includes the title of the table or figure written in title case and italic. You may also want to add notes at the end of your table or figure. Thank you for watching this lecture. I hope that you've learned something today. Take care, everybody.